Good morning, students. How are you? Fine. Today we will discuss about exercise 3.4. In this exercise, we will discuss about probability. What do you mean by the probability? Exercise 3.4. Probability. The Hindi meaning of the probability is sambhavna, possibility. So, what do you mean by the probability? The occurrence of anything is known as the probability. So, you may write chances of occurrence. You may say what is the probability? Chances of occurrence. The chances of occurrence is known as the probability. So just we can say it may rain today. It may rain today. So it is just a possibility. We are just giving the some chances of raining today. Okay. So these are known as the probability. Always remember the probability will lies between 0 and 1. Probability is always lying between 0 and 1. So minimum probability 0 means the chances of occurrence of anything is not possible. So if this event is impossible. So when the probability is 1, it means it is certain to happen. Yes, it is sure and it will definitely happen. Just like this, the sun rises from the east. Yes, it is true. So its probability will be 1. Okay. Now the sun rises from the west. Its possibility is 0. Its possibility is 0. Okay. Now, so there are the three cases. So there are three cases. Number one, certain to happen. Number two, impossible. Possible. Then third one is it can happen but not certain. It can happen but not certain. Certain means which is definitely to be happen. Well, it can happen but not certain. So there are the several cases. Just just you toss a coin. You toss a coin and get head on it. Toss a coin. It's an example. Coin and get head on it. So is it certain? Every time we get the head or sometime we get a tail also. So it is just not being a certain. Yes, it can happen, but okay. So it can happen, but not certain. So it has some chances of occurrence. So its possibility will lies between 0 and 1. Its probability will lies in between 0 and 1, something else. So now in the certain to happen, it means its probability is 0, 1. It's impossible, its probability is 0. And because in the coin case there are the two events only, head and tail, so its probability is 1 by 2, which is lies in between the 1 and 0. Okay, now look at this. Now so we can define the formula for the probability. So probability will define definitely defined by probability is equal to favorable outcomes divided by total outcomes. Okay, so favorable outcomes divided by total outcomes. Remember this formula. Okay, now what is this outcome? Outcome, just you may know about this, is as a result. Just like that we toss a coin and get the head. हमने coin को toss किया and हमें क्या मिला? Head मिला. if it is head, क्योंकि हमें वो नीड थी, we required that head, so it is in the our favorable case. If it comes tail, it is not in our favorable case, but the it outcomes also na. So head and tail, there are the two outcomes, total outcomes is 2 divided by 2, and favorable outcomes हमारे पास क्या है, only 1, इनकी head out of 2, tail और head में से outcomes हमारे पास क्या है, only head है, तो 1 outcome है favorable केस में, 2 outcomes है total केस में, तो probability क्या होगी, 1/2, probability will be 1/2. Okay, now let us start our exercise. Our first question is question number 1. Tell whether the following are certain. Followings are certain. Followings are certain to happen. Number second, impossible. Can happen but not certain. Okay, now there are some statements are also there. The first statement, the statement is you are older. You are older than you are older today than yesterday. Than yesterday. So हम आज बड़े होंगे as compared to बीते हुए कल से. Yes, it is true. So it is certain to happen. Certain to happen. Next one. The toss coin will land head. Heads up. A coin is tossed and the heads will up. So heads आ सकते हैं, अभी हमने डिस्कस किया था. So same the case is there that it can happen but not certain. So it can happen but not certain. Okay. Now in the next case, a die is thrown. A die जो हम लूडो में खेलते हैं, that we used to play in the ludo is known as a die. It's a number 1 to 6 is mark on it. A die when tossed shall land up with 8 on top. So is it possible? हमने अभी आपको बताया है कि डाइस के ऊपर 1 to 6 मार्क होता है. So such an event is impossible. Okay, such an event is impossible. Now in the next case, the next traffic light seen will be green. The next traffic light seen will be green. Great. Okay. Tomorrow will be a cloudy day in the next one. So इसमें आप देखिए, its case will be traffic light. There are three color of the light: red, yellow, and green. So it may be red, it may be green, it may be yellow. If we are founding that it is being green, so it can happen. Yes, it can happen. Not certain. Yes, can happen, but not certain, because three color of light में हमें कोई भी मिल सकती है. Next one is, tomorrow will be a cloudy day. Tomorrow will be a cloudy day. Tomorrow will be a cloudy day. Tomorrow will be cloudy day. So cloudy, yes, cloud हो सकते हैं, कभी भी आ सकते हैं हमारे पास, and it may rain or may not be rain, just like that. So it can happen, but not certain. Okay, so this is your question number 1, in which you have to just identify whether these statements are certain or not certain. Okay, now in the question number 2, there are 6 marbles. There are 6 marbles in a box. In a box, there are 6 marbles in a box with numbers from 1 to 6. With numbers from 1 to 6. Marked on each of them. Marked on each of them. What is the probability of drawing the marble with the number 2? Now look at this. We have 6 marbles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Marking them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay. Now the question is arising here. So total cases कितने हुए? Total outcomes 6. What is probability of drawing marble with number 2? Drawing a marble with the number 2. Now look at this. Here total outcomes कितने हैं? Total outcomes 6. Total outcomes are 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And number are marked on 1 to 6. The marbles with the number 2. So favorable outcomes कितने हैं? फेवरेबल आउटकम्स में हमारे पास केवल 2 होना चाहिए. सो ओनली 1. कितने केसेस है? नंबर ऑफ फेवरेबल आउटकम्स. वैसे हम लिख देते हैं टोटल आउटकम्स आर 1 2 3 4 5 एंड 6. सो नंबर ऑफ टोटल आउटकम्स कितने होंगे? नंबर ऑफ टोटल आउटकम्स इज इक्वल टू 6. फेवरेबल outcomes is equal to 2. So number of favorable outcomes is equal to 1. So required probability or you may write probability bracket में लिख दीजिए drawing in a marble with the number 2 is equal to P is equal to favorable number of favorable cases upon number of favorable cases outcomes divided by number of total outcomes. So number of favorable 1 है, total है 6. तो probability हमारे पास क्या बनेगी? 1 by 6. So okay, so this is our result. You have to choose only the 2. Like this. Okay. Now come to the second part of the same question. Now the second part, what is the probability of drawing a marble with number 5? तो इसमें भी same case बनेंगे. Similarly we can write here part number 2 number of favorable cases कितने हमारे पास? favorable का outcomes means result 5. Number of favorable outcomes 1. Total number of total outcomes is 6. So probability ब्रैकेट में आप लिख सकते हो drawing a marble with number 5 that is equal to number of favorable outcomes divided by number of total outcomes. One by 6. Okay, I'll take the screenshot of this. So this is your question number 2. Now question number 3rd. In the question number 3rd, a coin is flipped to decide which team start the game. A coin is flipped to decide which team start the game. Starts the game. What is the probability that your team will start that your team will start? Okay. Now इसमें हमें ये बताना है कि just like हम कोई भी गेम स्टार्ट करते हैं, toss for each and every game. So now you have to tell which team will have to start. Suppose there are the two teams. यहाँ पर हमारे पास two team है, my team and your team. Let there are two teams. My team and your team. Okay. So total कितने हो गए? Number of total outcomes. Number of total outcomes is equal to 2. Okay. And number of favorable outcomes कितने हो गए? Number of फेवरेबल आउटकम्स में हमारे पास क्या आएगा भाई? या तो हमारी टीम, माई टीम या योर टीम. हमें यहाँ पर किस टीम को जिताना है? योर टीम. सो दिस विल बी अवर फेवरेबल आउटकम्स. सो नंबर ऑफ फेवरेबल आउटकम्स will be equal to only 1. Number of favorable outcomes will be equal to 1. So probability क्या होती है? So probability ब्रैकेट में क्या फाइंड करना है हमें? That your team will start. Your team will start the game. Starts the game. So we have to find this probability. Now it is equal to total number of favorable outcomes, number of favorable outcomes divided by number of total outcomes. Favorable outcomes 1, total outcomes 2. So what is the probability of getting हमारी टीम, it's my team or your team, which team will win? It will be equal to 1 by 2 because both the teams are likely to occur, equally to happen, you may say. So this will be the result. So remember always there are the three situations in the probability in any statement. First one is certain to happen, second one is impossible, third one is it may be certain, it may be happens but not certain. Okay, so these are the three cases in the probability. And what is the formula for the probability? The formula for the probability is this: the number of the favorable cases upon total number of the cases. What do you mean by the outcomes? These are some cases which we are studying out. Okay, now solve all these exercises, complete 3.4 in your fair notebook. If you have some doubt, you may ask me in my live classes on the team, or you may ask on my WhatsApp. Okay, so thank you.